Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to completely untangle one of the most brilliantly constructed urban conspiracies I've literally ever come across. So I want you to picture this. It's a gritty, rain-slicked city where the gutters literally taste like copper, and the pigeons, get this, argue in the voices of dead stockbrokers. This is Ebonreach. And stepping right into this insanely atmospheric, neon-drenched downpour is our protagonist, Jack Vale. He's your classic weary private investigator, working out of a crumbling little office above the Lucky Meridian laundromat. But Vale is about to pull a thread that completely unravels the very fabric of his reality. The whole vibe of this world is perfectly captured by this one chilling quote. In a city built on broken magic, everyone's already cursed. The question is just, which hex is yours? It just instantly drops you into this dark, neo-noir atmosphere where survival is really just a matter of managing your own damages. So Vale gets hired for what honestly sounds like a standard missing persons case. But the twist here, the person isn't actually missing. It's a missing part of a person. And this absolutely impossible theft ends up being the key to a conspiracy that threatens to rewrite the city's entire history. Section 1. A city built on magic. Okay, so to understand the crime, we really have to understand the crime scene first. Ebonreach operates on this failing magical municipal grid, and it's powered by ley lines. Visually, you can think of them like these giant underground rivers of natural arcane energy. Now, decades ago, the city basically overlaid a regular municipal grid onto these ancient conduits just to power homes and businesses. But now, residents are suffering from something called layfield drop, because the magic is actually running dry. The public infrastructure is totally failing. Enter a highly controversial piece of legislation called the Downtown Renewal Act. If this passes, it would hand over a 40-year exclusive monopoly of these ley lines to this massive private entity known as the Meridian Group. It's your classic battle of public good versus private greed, but obviously with huge supernatural stakes. Section 2. The anatomy of a shadow. So this brings us right back to Jack Vale's inciting case. This incredibly anxious legislative aide named Edmund Carver knocks on Vale's door. Carver works for Councilman Aldrich Voss, who happens to be the leading public champion of that Downtown Renewal Act. Carver wants to hire Vale because Voss has inexplicably, and I mean completely, lost his shadow. And in Ebonreach, you have to understand a shadow is way more than just an absence of light. A normal person casts a shadow that literally carries the drag of their conscience. It slows them down, right? It makes them human. But a shadow-stripped person, they become unnervingly frictionless. They are highly compliant, completely free of any doubt, and just terrifyingly at ease with decisions that would normally keep them awake all night. Just look at what is physically contained within a shadow in Ebonreach's magical ecosystem. We're talking guilt, loyalty, doubt, emotional debt, moral weight, commitments, the whole shebang. Now, Councilman Voss originally had some serious, private doubts about handing over the city's magic to a private corporation. But by stripping his shadow, someone surgically removed his moral friction. He was basically transformed into a perfectly smooth, well-dressed machine programmed to just smile and vote yes. Section 3. The Downtown Renewal Act. But here's the thing. This isn't just a magical assault on one single politician. Vale, teaming up with his old mentor Inspector Wren and Voss's own daughter Celine, starts mapping out a horrifying pattern across the entire city government. It's not just Voss. It's Corvin Marsh, the chair of the planning committee. It's Alina Sykes, the council secretary. It's even Lieutenant Hadley, a key police constable. Every single one of them has had their civic will and conscience stolen just to clear the path for the Meridian Group. This shadow theft, it's actually a highly coordinated mechanism being used to forcefully pass the Downtown Renewal Act. We are looking at a literal invisible coup. Section 4. The Meridian Group Conspiracy. So, who is pulling the strings here? Well, operatives like Draven Cole are out there executing this industrial-scale operation, and it's all overseen by a brilliant but completely morally vacant practitioner named Maren Thoss. In fact, Vale actually catches Cole at a museum gala, doing something super subtle, just resting his hand on Councilman Voss's arm to maintain this physical, surgically placed sigil hidden right beneath the sleeve. The full protocol is chillingly efficient. Step 1, expertly extract the shadow. Step 2, store it in a massive hidden repository called the Archive. Step 3, use operatives like Cole to maintain physical sigils on the victims out in public. And finally, process those stolen, distilled human consciousness directly back into the ley lines. It's treated like a brutal corporate supply chain. Which leads us to this absolutely shocking data point. Vale gets a tip from the utility authority. The Meridian Group's headquarters over at Sovereign Plaza, they are continuously drawing 140% of their allowed ley line capacity. 140%! They aren't just storing these shadows in the archive, they're feeding them into a massive arcane converter. They are powering something impossibly huge. Section 5, the archive. So to find out what exactly they're powering, Vale goes deep underground to a sealed 1960s subway stop called Platform 7. There, he meets Knuckle, who is literally a sentient stone entity that trades in underground secrets. Knuckle reveals a history that spans decades. Back in 1987, a guy named Casimir Vale tried to build a prototype archive. Jump to 2019, and Meridian is secretly buying up subsurface rights. But the biggest shocker comes in 2020. You see, Jack Vale actually used to have a powerful magical ability called Arcane Sight, but he lost it in what he thought was a suspicious accident. Well, here's the bombshell. It wasn't an accident. The mastermind behind Meridian, a former city official named Mirabel Cass, purposefully had Vale's sight extracted and stored in the archive. Section 6, the Memory Stone. So you might be wondering, why on earth would a corporation steal a detective's ability to investigate? Well, because the Meridian Group is using it to drill into the primary ley lines buried deep beneath the city. In fact, directly beneath Jack Vale's own apartment building. The bedrock of Ebonreach isn't just regular rock. It's actually a memory stone. It holds the complete, unalterable historical truth of the entire city. Every crime, every land theft, every buried secret going all the way back to the dawn of human settlement is perfectly encoded in the deep earth. And Meridian is using the massive power of those stolen shadows, combined with Vale's highly tuned investigative sight, to read it. Which really forces us to ask the ultimate question here. Jack Vale and Celine Voss now have just 5 days. 5 days until the city council votes to hand Meridian total, unregulated access to these lines. That's 5 days to break into the Sovereign Plaza building, disrupt the shadow extractions, and steal back Vale's sight. Because we really have to ask ourselves, what happens when a private, frictionless corporation owns a city's fundamental memory? The answer is incredibly chilling. They become the only version of the truth. If Meridian controls the memory stone, they get to choose exactly what stays buried and what surfaces. That gives them ultimate leverage over everyone and everything in Ebonreach. So, will Jack Vale manage to get his sight and honestly the city's soul back in the 5 short days he has left? Or is a frictionless corporation going to permanently rewrite reality? Those are the incredible stakes of this story, and it's a mystery I will leave you to uncover.